I think that so many people, especially on site, are so used to complaining about problems that are then not fixed that they kind of get to a point where they just don't talk about the problems anymore.
Yeah.
And that's when you're in a really bad situation, because that's when it starts to infiltrate into your customer's experience, and that's where you go downhill. So I think going in and kind of earning that trust, and, you know, almost going in with an approach of, I know you've said this a million times before, but you've never said it to me. Like say it to me and let me show you that things will change. And then being able to make all of those changes, and then having like regular check-ins with them to, you know, tweak this and tweak that.
Welcome to Captive Conversations, brought to you by Captive Wi-Fi. I'm your host, Adam Foreman. This podcast brings you the best stories from suppliers, marketers, and operators from our beloved hospitality sector. Now, let's get on with the show. Hello, everyone. Episode 64. And we have Catherine Allen in, and I apologise about the tardiness of my meeting invites, but we finally got there in the end. So thank you for coming. I'm going to let you introduce yourself because you were somewhere, but now you're doing other things and also your own thing. So I'll let you do your thing.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm Catherine. I am a paediatric nurse turned sales executive for a tech company, turned sales lead for a startup, turned bookings and sales manager for a 3-site venue group in London, turned head of sales for a couple of hospitality businesses since then, and most recently have thought of doing my own thing, and I'm kind of exploring the market to see if there's an appetite for it.
Nice. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad you said that. So, but thank you for coming. I'm really interested to understand the backstory of where you were, where you've gone back to now, to be fair, but where you were, and then all the way through, and also the new thing, which we'll talk about afterwards, which I haven't done much research on, but I did a little deep dive on it. So be interesting to hear. So I'm going to go dive straight into the first questions from Louise and Reese from Set Menu.
Nice, yeah.
And one was, if you could choose anywhere to go on holiday and do anything on that holiday, what and where would it be? Be creative. Because Reese likes to go on like fun holidays.
What is a holiday if it's not fun, right? I feel like I'm torn between the Norwegian fjords and Australia. I always wanted to go to Australia, but one of the two. And I think that I would just get every single person that has ever been there for me in my life and go with them and just have no plan and just book a flight and then just decide what we do when we get there. Jessie J would have to be involved at some point. She'd have to feature somewhere.
I love that.
But yeah, I think that's what.
Would Jessie J be singing or acting? Because she was an actress as well, so you know.
She would just be there in whatever capacity she could. Maybe a friend. Maybe a voice. Maybe a performance.
Maybe your best mate.
Yeah, who knows?
Okay, I like that. I like Australia. Not been to Australia.
Maybe
I got as far as to Bali, and my friends were like, "We don't want to go."
Oh,
it
what?
I don't know. I was. They were traveling, and I met them, and they hadn't been yet, so we went another way, and I was like, so close.
Should have gone anyway.
So I should have just left them, shouldn't I? To be fair,
exactly.
They would have been very disorganised if I left them. Anyway, second question was from Louise. And what's the one thing that no one knows about you and they'd be really surprised to find out? Well, I think.
So many things. What shall I divulge? Probably that I have written a children's book series.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. It's called Understanding Me, and it's all about children learning about their emotions.
Okay.
But yeah, I wrote it. I was really proud of it. And then I went to a publisher and they were like, oh yeah, this is good, but I'm not the right publisher for you. And someone in my family has written a few children's books. And I went to her and asked her what I should do. And she was like, oh, your best route to getting published is through competitions. Okay. And I was like, and that's kind of where it stops. I have ADHD. I've been diagnosed with ADHD. And I feel like anything that involves many tasks across a very, 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 very long road with nothing ever promised at the end is sometimes quite difficult, she says, whilst also trying to start a business. But there we go.
So you went down that rabbit hole, you hyper-focused, and you wrote a book.
I wrote a series.
Right, so why don't you just put it on Kindle and publish it there, self-publish?
Do kids use Kindle? I guess they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that, to be fair. I've never thought of that. But then illustration. I have actually got an illustrator and she was absolutely amazing.
My wife's sister's kid, who is 17 now, she's written two, and they've got an illustrator to do the illustration.
Amazing.
And they've just put it on Kindle.
I love that.
And all their friends basically download it and stuff, but it's there, and other people have used it. So you'd be surprised because kids have iPads.
Yeah,
right?
No, she's great. The illustrator that I had, we actually met randomly. We both were with the same guy, and ended up chatting after we'd broken up with him. Not at the same time. We went together with the guy at the same time. And she was so good. Like, she literally just brought everything to life that I'd wanted and made it so much better.
You've done the illustrations already?
Yeah, well, the illustration, she'd started the illustrations, and they were honestly, like, phenomenal illustrations. And it got to a point for her where she was like, I'm putting so much time into this, like, we'll need to take some money for it. And it was at that point where I was like, I don't have any money for this yet, so... yeah, maybe a cut or something.
Maybe in a little bit, then you'll do the cut thing, but self-publish it. That'd be awesome. I'll download it.
That'd be cool.
I'll get it. Yeah. I'll give it to my kids as well.
Yeah.
So,
well, you have to get separate copies for them.
Of course. They've got their own Kindle account, don't worry. So, but you could, do it. I mean, you can stick it on Etsy as an electronic download. You can stick it on loads of options. There's loads, and you could maybe even do it as a audio on YouTube or Audible, which would be
goodness.
So there's loads you can do.
Oh, that would be so cute.
Then you can do it in a really cool. Get someone to do the voiceover for it, which would be really nice, or you could do it.
Yeah, and it's really sweet because like the characters in it are called Me and You, and they're really sweet. And they like one of them has hearing aids, and like one of them has like quite a big birthmark on their arm, and like it's just because a lot of children that come into the hospital aren't used to seeing children like them in books or on TV. And I think we're getting there, but we're not there enough. And normally if you do see books or children's TV shows, that is often the focus and it is made for children.
Yeah.
That
I would go on to like some AI tool to take the illustrations you've got and ask them to create similar illustrations and then just print a couple and take it in. And just give it to the wards. Yeah,
that's so true. That's so true. Although I don't know if the hospital would be like, that's self-promotion.
No, but you don't have to put anything. You could just have not your name as the author.
Discover the rest of the series.
Yeah, 100%. But you could do that. I don't know. They'd love it. They don't care what's there, do they? As long as it's something free and something different.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, we're going to go down. We're going to go down the rabbit hole. But that's really interesting. I like that. Yeah. Even Dan from Airship did a book and he plugged it into Canva and Canva did most of it and he did the rest of the editing and then sent the PDF to a printer and off he went. You can stick what you've done into Canva. My mum wrote a book.
Cool, everyone's writing books. It's not even that special anymore.
I took it to my printer around the corner, did the PDF, he printed it.
I'll send it to you then.
Yeah, send it to me. I'll do it for you. So we'll take the commission. I'll just do one. Okay, standard questions. Best hospitality experience.
When I was a child, I went to Normandy and we went to this restaurant and it was like a really old, dilapidated, it just had a feel to it that felt a bit like the Pig, the Pig hotels, it was a bit like that, but not as expensive. And we had a roast there, this was before I was vegan, and oh my goodness, the food was like, the service could have been absolutely horrendous, but it would still have been the best experience because it was like a lamb roast with like runner beans. It was just so simple, but the flavours were just out of this world and the lamb was so tender. This was before I learned that lamb meant a lamb. And then I was just one day was like in the back of my mum's car, like she was driving me to school and I was like, oh mum, like where have all the lambs gone that we pass every morning?
Yeah.
And she's like, on your dinner plate? And I was like,
no.
What?
I mean that's, come on.
Never
Way
again.
to vegan. Is your mum vegan now?
No. I've tried.
On your dinner plate, I love that. We're doing more vegan stuff. I'm very much loving the Bold Bean Co. Have you tried them?
I haven't.
She went on Dragon's Den about 5 years ago, and her mission was to get the best chickpeas and butter beans and beans, basically. And they kicked obviously she didn't get the investment, but it's made a killing now.
Oh.
And they do like queen chickpeas.
Oh wow!
So when we're trying to make, it's the first time I opened up the tin. I have a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old, I scooped it out. I had some. This is amazing because they put in. I know we're digressing, but we put it in the jar, and the stuff that's in the jar is the liquid they cooked it in. So you had this beautiful saltiness and flavourness.
So they all have little crowns on them?
No.
Oh, I thought they were queen chickpeas though.
Oh, bless you.
Was that like sympathy for my awful
No, because
joke?
my brain went, hold on, was there a crown? My brain went to thinking, it must be a crown on it because it's a special chickpea.
Oh, a crown like on the logo.
On the top. So I went, or even on the top of the chickpea, maybe a little crown.
That's what I was thinking.
I know, but I thought there might be one because, I don't know, anyway. Sorry, I digress. But I took a spoon and I gave it to my kid who's not a chickpea fan, and she was like, yeah, I'll have another scoop of that, please. So I just pouring that into a pasta dish or a rice dish or rice and veg. Gives you the protein and the flavour is unbelievable.
I'll look into that. And you can also like whisk I think it's called aquaflava, like the and then use that to make like chocolate mousse.
You don't need egg whites.
Yeah, and it's so light.
Yeah.
And it just like you don't get that horrible stodgy feeling after you eat lots of animal products. Like you just whisk it all up and then it's gorgeous.
Yeah, aquafaba. Yeah. So
fun name as well. Sounds like a water park.
It does sound like a water park.
I want to
go. Okay. Best hospitality tech and no self-noms.
No, I mean, it's just so obvious what I'm going to say because I just talk about it all the time, but it's got to be Colin's Design My Night. I'm thinking about the answer to this question. I'm like, what else could I say? Like, what else would be in the running? And like, my mind doesn't even let me go anywhere else because I just think it's a really flexible, customizable piece of kit, but it helps that I used to sell it and I know all the ins and outs of it. Mm-hmm. So often it lets itself down because you have to really know it to be able to, put it into a business and it actually reduce the time that you spend on admin.
I'm hoping that because we speak to Res Diary a little bit as well, and I really like the team there. They're sort of like they're still independent-ish, same group, but they're still doing their own stuff, which is really nice, and they're still developing the product. And Collins is still just as plateaued and sat there. And I'm hoping, I don't know if it's going to happen, but Res Diary is pretty cool as a platform. It doesn't have the events piece, and Collins does. I was hoping that they would maybe, or they might be doing it. Who knows?
Res Cole.
Yeah.
Cole Diary. Cole Res. Maybe it needs a new name.
I think it's a brand new name. yeah. It'll be Access something.
Yeah.
It won't be anything else.
Book.
Yeah. Oh, it's quite nice. Yeah. But yeah, I was hoping that would be put together. I think like some technology platforms, if you don't use it properly, there's loads of people I know that speak to me about Collins, and they're like, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that, it doesn't do this, but it can do. It's just getting it working.
Yeah.
But I think
get me in there.
Yeah, actually, to be fair, I might do.
I love it. I'm such a geek
I have 3 or 4 people that are just like...
Oh, no, honestly, I love it so much. Sometimes I dream about it. It's really embarrassing, but I love it. I hold my hands up. I do. I'm just a problem solver, so when I understand what an operator needs, I know what Collins can and can't fix. So it's like, yes, it can do that, or no, it can't. And actually, no, it can't technically do that specifically, but there's a workaround where we can use this functionality to do it. So as long as you're happy with X, Y, and Z happening or not happening, because of the fact that we're using a workaround, then we're good to go.
I feel that there isn't enough people that know that anymore. So I think that's maybe where it gets sort of stuck. Okay, so let's go back in time. Did you? I always ask this question, but before you were in nursing, did you do anything in hospo at all?
Yeah, I was a waitress in Zizi's,
awesome.
And it was really funny because I was at I was at school at the time, and my best friend is from France. And when I told her I got a job at Zizi's, she just couldn't stop laughing, because apparently it means penis in French. And I was like, I'm just going to Zizi's, and she used to be like, hee hee hee. And I used to be like, what? And then she told me, and I was like, oh. I go into work and tell everyone, like, did you know?
I bet they love that, to be fair. At least it's not a French restaurant. So, okay, so a waitress in ZZ.
Yes.
And you got to understand the back and front of house as well and that sort of jazz?
Yeah, I mean,
Or were you just taking it by the flow?
Yeah, I loved it because I had my own little section and I saw all of the customers that came into that section as my little babies. And I would just go and chat to them, and sometimes I had in the back of my mind like, okay, Catherine, leave them to eat their meal, because I'd be there like, oh no way, do you want to?
Yeah.
I'd be so chatty.
Yeah, but the banter. The banter's important.
I loved it. And I felt like a bit of a sim, like I felt like I'd have all these jobs lined up in my head, like get a spoon for table 6, get the meal for this, then the bell would go, and it's like prioritising the tasks. It helped me a lot with time management, prioritisation, communication, etc.
Did you think that, the thing I find really interesting, I used to events, right? So,
Oh yeah.
So being in front of people and being in front of different people and difficult people
Yeah.
adjusts your expectation and understanding of people generally. Do you think that helped later on? Because when you go in hospital, you'll have an angry customer, then you'll have a happy customer, and there'll be a whole mixed bag. I'm sure everyone was happy with you, to be honest with you, because you just turned it around. But it also opens your mind a bit. So people, I feel the people who haven't been in hospital at all, then they go and the communication's a bit difficult.
Yeah, it's
sometimes.
very, very similar to nursing in that respect. You've got a lot of people that you're looking after that are all at different stages of their, stay or visit with you. I know, to be honest, the biggest thing I remember is getting my first pay slip and taking my first tips. I got 60 quid in tips for my first shift, and I remember going into Boots and buying £60 worth of nail varnish at 16 years old. But I had no nails because I used to bite them awfully, so that was stupid. And the other thing I remember is I used to get the most feedback. I used to basically say to customers please can you do this because we win this and I really want to win it.
Yeah.
And I've been working so many shifts and I just used to be really honest. And I used to get them and there used to be a star chart where it would show you how many bits of feedback you got, and I would win every month.
Yeah, through the roof.
Until this woman joined, and I don't know how she did it. She wasn't even that friendly to me anyway. And she just won every month after that, and I just remember being really annoyed. But that's like the biggest things that I remember, to be honest. But yeah.
And then so that was during school.
That was during school, yeah.
And then after, so that was what, secondary school, or was that just after
secondary school, yeah.
And
not
then,
primary school.
No, obviously, but I'm like college, So
I was in nappies walking around.
Well, to be fair, you're quite tall, so
this is true.
I'm sure they wouldn't know. But not nappies. But so then then straight on to nursing. Was that the route?
Yeah. So then I went to university and trained to be a children's nurse. Yeah. And then
how many years?
3 years.
3. Okay.
Yeah, it was the last year that you didn't have to pay, which was nice.
Oh, did well.
I still can't believe that you have to pay to become a nurse.
Yeah, me
either.
It's just
insane. And then we have to pay 120 quid a year to keep our registration, and we have to pay 20 quid a month to have a rep, have a union to support us if anything goes wrong. It's I actually think we just shouldn't have to pay any of that and also not be taxed because we're literally giving our heart and soul to a hospital. But anyway, I digress. I'm not bitter about it. I love NHS. And then,
did you do any private stuff or not?
Yeah. So when I qualified, I moved to Bristol and worked in Bristol Children's Hospital for nearly 2 years. And then I moved into CAMHS PICU, which is basically children's and mental health. Children's and adolescent mental health. Paediatric intensive care unit. So that was
a mixture of CAMHS and intensive care?
No, so it's mental health intensive care.
Oh, wow, okay.
It was absolutely insane. It was probably the steepest learning curve within a 6-month period that I've ever undertaken.
Yeah.
It was crazy and very, very intense. And I ended up staying there for a bit and then going into the community where I treated children with rare diseases.
Oh, wow.
The main one being something called MPS, which stands for mucopolysaccharidosis, which I won't ask you to repeat.
Okay, thank you.
And I basically went and the children had a portacath, which is something that sits underneath their skin on their chest. Mm-hmm. And I inserted a needle into that and it went straight into their heart. The drugs that I would give. And the drugs that I would give basically gave them an enzyme that they were lacking. And this enzyme, believe it or not, was harvested from Chinese hamsters' ovaries. Who the hell found that out? I do not know. So I would go and do that, build really long-term relationships with these patients, go to the same houses most weeks, go into schools, access their portacaths, give them this infusion. Yeah. Carrying an anaphylaxis kit with me because they could react at any time. And I did that for 2.5 years and was going to go into paediatric oncology after that, but they were too short-staffed to let me go and do the course. And I waited and waited and waited, and I got to the point where I was like, you're literally haltering my career, I'm not doing it. And then that's when the switch began.
So what happened?
So I basically got very fed up with the operational inefficiency of the healthcare system in general. I just felt like I would come up with these ideas to cut out time, which is something that we're all short of, but especially within a care setting. And I was told that we don't make those decisions. And I was told the idea would work. it's a good idea, we could execute it, but we can't because we don't make those decisions. And I would ask who does, and they would say, oh, this man at the top. And I'd say, okay, can I go and speak to him?
No.
He said no. And I'd say, why? And they'd say, oh, no one knows, like, we don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this just makes no sense. I just got to the point where there was just red tape. I needed to discharge someone the other day, and it took me 3 hours because I had to sign a bit of paper to say that I'd given a bit of paper, and they'd read that bit of paper, and they'd signed on this piece of paper to say they'd read that bit of paper.
Wow.
And I was signing here to say that I've given that piece of paper, and they've read it, and they've signed that piece of paper. And I just thought, this is ridiculous. I've always been told I'd be good at sales. My dad's friend, who was very well established in business, was around my house once when I was about 12, having some drinks with my dad in the garden, and I was probably chewing his ear off about something. And he said to my dad, if your daughter ever goes into sales, you give me a call. Yeah. Which is a good point, actually. Where is that guy? I basically decided that I would try it. Someone I used to go to school with led a sales team for Collins. Yeah. I started chatting to her over social media about a similar traumatic experience we've both been through. And then she learnt about what I was doing, and she was like, come and join my team, like come and have an interview. Yeah. And
what stage was Collins at that point?
So that was it. It sold, I think it had sold to Access a few years before. Yeah. So yeah, not super mature, but equally not early at all. Yeah. And then I packed up my stuff, sold my flat in Bristol, moved to London.
What? Just love that.
Yeah. I needed to move back home anyway, like to be a bit closer to my family, and just, decided that if I wasn't going to do it then, I probably never was. Yeah. So yeah, I moved and started it and loved it. The team were amazing. I was like, I can wear nail varnish to work. What? Get the 60 quid's worth I bought 8 years ago. It was amazing.
So how big was the team when you started?
I'd probably say, hard to know. I'd say probably just over 10. Yeah. In the sales team. Mm. And yeah, they took a bit of a risk hiring me because obviously I'd never done it before. And I
complete switch of complete switch.
Complete, yeah. Yeah. But so many transferable skills. Yeah. Convincing someone to take some medicine that they don't want to take, convincing someone to part with some cash they don't want to part with. Yeah. So it's pretty similar.
For anything.
Exactly.
So yeah, and also dealing with difficult people, challenging conversations as well. I think you tend to take those transferable skills. Yeah. So did you do a massive deep dive and a hyper focused moment on that piece of software?
Yeah, I think.
Did you go, what's this, and then just go all in?
Yeah, I think the thing is, I just thought that I don't want to sell this to someone if it's not actually going to be helpful, because I'd feel too bad. Mm. So I didn't want to promise all of these things and then they actually trust me and spend the money, and then it doesn't actually do those things. And the more and more questions I was asked, the more and more I needed to understand. And I think that I basically ended up just looking, like, I don't really take a sales job at all, and this is true to this day, if I don't actually believe in what I'm selling. So if I look into what the product or service is and I don't think it's the best in the market, then how on earth am I meant to tell someone else, with a conscience that it is? So I genuinely did really, really love it and thought it was really cool. And yeah, I wouldn't say I hyper-focused on it until a bit later, but I would say that I just wanted to know how it was dealing with all the problems that the operators were faced with. Yeah, because it
sounds like you're asking the hard questions. Not everyone else asks the hard questions. They go in and they sell a piece of software, and this is what it does. It does booking and events. Off you go. And it sounds like you went in and go, well, how does this fix this? Yeah. And then how does that fix that? So It sounds like you are asking the hard questions to the people in the business and to understand it more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not everyone does that.
No, and that to me is wild. I don't understand that. I just wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Yeah. Feeling like just knowing that. And then I ended up just getting, I think, 50% higher than anyone in the rest of the team for their average order value. Wow. And the head of sales asked me to host a meeting where I explained how I did that to everyone, and then I became team
everyone's sitting there this going,
No, but it was really awkward for my relationships because I'd obviously only been there for like 3 months.
Yeah.
People had been on that team for years and years and years, and I looked up to them, and they were amazing. I saw their confidence and their knowledge, but I think the difference is that I brought that empathy and that connection and
but you've also got the banter in the conversation. So some people,
not necessarily good banter, but I try.
I think it's good banter.
Thanks.
You're doing all right. You're doing all right. It's interesting. I'm speaking to operators the whole time. If you don't have empathy for them and understand their pain and then guide them through how it can be better, then there's no point really doing it.
Exactly.
And there are other salespeople who just want to, like, we on the IT side of the business, we have consistent salespeople like harping on. There's a deal. Go buy this. I'm like, leave me alone. Like, it's not. You're not used car. Some people are used car salesmen, and some people have empathy and understand the challenges that are there. And I think it sounds like you understood the challenges of the operator, and then on the conversation piece, we can fix this for you.
Yeah, but also telling them what they didn't need. Like, when you get Collins, there's all these different bolt-ons that you can get, and I think it's really easy to go in and try and get them to get all of them, but actually then you have to bundle the pricing and discount it anyway. So I would go in and be like, right, well, you've told me that you don't want to move away from your emails to communicate.
Yeah.
And although Collins comes with an email functionality all built in, and I think that would be more efficient for you, you've told me you don't want to move away from your emails. Therefore, I'm letting you know, let's just park the mail bolt on because you don't need it. And then it just became this surprise reaction that I got, like, oh, a salesperson's telling me I don't need something.
That
they're selling, and I'm like, well,
yeah.
Like, what's the point in telling you that? And then 6 months down the road, you're going through a really difficult time because the market is just so, up and down. And
did you find that they came back later and then took the bolt on?
Sometimes I would always try and keep in touch with them anyway, because I'd be like, is everything okay? Can I help with anything? Even though that got handed over to another team. And sometimes they'd come back absolutely and ask for those.
So how long were you at Collins for?
A year, because then I got messaged on LinkedIn from a founder asking if I would consider going and leading their sales function, which was a startup that was based in Bristol. And I was like, I've just moved to London.
I've just left Bristol.
Yeah. And I mean, the salary that was offered was the same as I was on if it was basically my base salary plus all of my bonuses if I had, reached my target across the whole year. And it was just risk-free. And it was really difficult because everyone in Collins was saying, go and join the startup, get the experience. But I'm telling you now, it's not the same. It's not worth it. It's not like I had everyone telling me that.
Yeah.
But me being me, I was just like, I'm going to have to go and find out for myself.
You find the shiny new toy.
Yeah. I also quite liked the way that he approached me, and he also asked, like, I didn't have to do a CV or anything. He just asked me to send him a video.
Oh, lovely.
Of
so startup.
Me. Yeah, and I did a tour of my office. And I was like, this is my calculator where I enter all of the money I've brought in. This is my diffuser where I make myself really calm. This is my whiteboard where I track all of my metrics. And it's
I'm saying all the right keywords, to be fair.
Yeah, just ways to explain how I work with my environment. And ended up getting the job, which was crazy. So it was sales lead for a company called Limber.
Okay.
Limber is basically a flexible staffing platform, but it's not like Coopel and that. It's not in the way that it's like an agency situation where there's a middleman between the operator and the staff member.
Yeah.
It's a direct platform that allows you to source, manage and build your own consistent but flexible team of staff that you can pull upon as and when you need.
Yeah.
So you get to a point where you post a shift and someone that you like that's already worked for you, that you've added to your team, can automatically accept it. And it really helps with the fluctuating demands that a lot of companies face within the industry.
And what sector was it for, specifically for?
Tech, hospitality tech.
Hospitality.
Yeah. And then future goals to kind of branch into other things like nursing.
Yeah, nursing would be awesome.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
So how long were you there for?
I wasn't actually there for long. I was actually made redundant. I'd hit the target. I'd done all this work and brought them into over 100 sites within my first 6 months, and it got to a point.
Well, of course you did. I mean, you were going to go.
Well, I think that it's difficult because the platform isn't about getting new sign-ups, because the platform only brings in money when there's engagement. Like they don't, it's a free platform to use, and then they just add a bit of a percentage to do all of the payroll and everything. And so actually the money came from engagement, not from sales. And I think that Chris very quickly realised that, and off I went. That was that.
So what was from then? What was after?
Then I realised that actually the FOMO was getting the better of me, and I'd had enough trying to help the operators create this amazing service to their guests and then not being there to see the end result. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to go into the operator side of things. Wow, that was a lot. I went and took a bit of a pay cut and joined Night Group as a bookings and sales manager. And I basically...
What was it? Sorry, because you did the whoa. What was that like, going from tech, like from the operator side, from the tech side, sales, into hospo? Because it's a beast.
I find that the operators live in a very chaotic world, and I just tried to bring a bit of order to it. I mean, I looked at their customer journey from landing on the website to leaving the venue. And I just looked at all of the loopholes that were in that journey for a good or a bad experience, and just tightened it all up and just made it easier for people to book and easier to contact us, and looked at response times and just every single bit of that journey that could go right or wrong. And that's where within 3 months across the 3 venues, bookings went up by 180%.
Wow. 180%. Through Collins, of course.
Well, Collins, but they had Collins already. They
weren't using it the right way. 180%.
Yeah.
That's
and I was
crazy.
Like, whoa, I'm pretty good at this.
That's mental.
Yeah, it was. It really, really was, and it was absolutely a team effort. But I think it's just having one person that can just lead that process, but lead it in a way that listens to the venue team and what they're struggling with bookings, listen to the operations team, listen to the finance team, and just someone who can advocate. And that's another thing that I've learned from nursing, is obviously being able to advocate for people when they're not in the room.
There's also and the advocating and the listening piece is super important.
Exactly.
The challenge sometimes you find in every operator that we see, that change management piece, because the head office goes, we're going to change all this now, and then it doesn't filter down. So things, the idea is a great idea, but as you said, if you don't follow, if it doesn't get done properly with change management, I think that's mental. So you've obviously gone through each part, and it's nice listening to each part. Because if you don't listen to each area of the business, there's a challenge. So it's really interesting.
And I think that so many people, especially on site, are so used to complaining about problems that are then not fixed, that they kind of get to a point where they just don't talk about the problems anymore. And that's when you're in a really bad situation, because that's when it starts to infiltrate into your customer's experience, and that's where you go downhill. So I think going in and kind of earning that trust, and almost going in with an approach of, I know you've said this a million times before, but you've never said it to me. Like say it to me and let me show you that things will change. And then being able to make all of those changes, and then having like regular check-ins with them to tweak this and tweak that. But I found it really difficult to get the balance between, what's my decision and what's their decision. If I know a package is going to sell well, it's selling really well, it's hitting the bottom line, it's really successful, but it's a nightmare for the on-site team. Like, who wins in that situation? It's, I found that quite difficult. But after the 3 months, I was promoted to head of sales, and then I grew my own team and trained my own team up to handle the inquiries for the 3 venues, because I was handling all of the bookings, all of the email inboxes, all of the stuff in Collins, all of the websites. I was doing everything, and I was like, I literally was working from like 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. 6 or 7 days a week to get the project done. And then I was promoted, was asked to do the same for the events team, and then ended up moving on from 3 venues to 18 venues across Europe. And doing the same. So
did they buy, or are they opened?
No, so that was Beds and Bars.
Oh, is that when you moved? Is it when you moved to that?
Yeah,
moved to Beds and Bars.
Went to Beds and Bars, which was
because that's another throw in. Just the staying piece is also very different, right? They have the rooms as well, or not no rooms?
Beds and Bars. Yeah, but I wasn't in that sales team.
Oh, okay, fine.
I was actually made redundant from Night Group as well.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is insane. How am I going into a company making all of these differences, making all of this money, and then, being sacked off? Well, not literally, but, and it's literally because most businesses will go straight for their sales team when times are tough.
Yeah.
And I just think that that's crazy. Like, times are tough.
You invest in your sales
team. You invest in yourself. The sales team are the key there. And then they basically handed all of the bookings and inquiries to the GMs, and I really felt for them because there's just it's just they don't have time to do that, especially when we'd created the demand that we had. But obviously, from their perspective, we've also automated a lot of it, which was a huge piece of work. But ultimately, they wanted to move more into internal events rather than external ones. So I do understand the reasoning, but. Yeah, it was a lot, and the 2 people that I'd hired as well were off as well, so it was difficult.
So the whole sales, they just moved it to the site. Each site had responsible for their own. Wow. And then you moved on to
Beds and Bars. I was head of sales for Beds and Bars for 18 venues across Europe, and
get to travel a bit.
I did at the beginning, and then I think times got a bit tough. But I basically went in and did the same, but it was obviously a huge project because there were so many hands involved. There was a lot of disagreements, like between different departments. It was
we're much bigger company, I guess.
Much more difficult.
Yeah.
But no, I did it I was doing it across all sites, and they were all at different stages, and I was training people in Collins, and their sales team hadn't had much sales training. It was all quite a junior team.
Yeah.
And I finished it for one of the sites, and the automatically confirmed booking for that site increased by 16,500%.
What? Wow.
And the team's admin time reduced by 87% simultaneously.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's just by automating the right things.
Yeah.
And also some training.
Training, but also I think just not overwhelming the customer. So
let's go back a bit. Did you go in and do the whole let's start a customer journey from beginning to end, and then take pieces out that isn't needed and restructure?
I wasn't really in a position to be able to do that because obviously being new in a role, you can't really just go in like that because you'll just burn any bridges that you want to build.
So did you work on the automation piece of it?
I worked first of all on getting the right feedback loops enabled. Because instead of me going into a room and saying you shouldn't do this, it sounds like I've got a bee in my bonnet and I want some power and control.
Yeah.
I actually want to go in and be like, hey, I've been tracking this number and look what it's doing.
Yeah.
Let's bring the people into the room and decide what we should do about that.
Yeah. So asking them the question.
Yeah, and try to use objective evidence rather than my own opinion, because even though I'd had this experience and I did know what I was talking about at this point, I didn't want that to come across as ballsy, which is a whole nother conversation. The fact that I'm a woman probably plays into that, but and actually advocating again, a lot of people were saying a lot of things to me, and I kind of got them all into a room and were like, you're all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, but you're just not saying it to each other.
Yes.
You're saying it to me because I'm the one that will ask the question, and I'm the one that, I'd be sat in a meeting with, 10, 15 people around the table, and we'd all be talking about what we were going to change about a menu, for the new menu coming out. We're completely revamping the menu, and I'm the one saying, sorry, why are we revamping the menu? And everyone would be like, I don't know, I've just been told to do it. And I'd be like, this menu has sold the best of any menu we've ever done.
Yeah.
Have you looked at the data? Actually, the lowest selling item on this menu is this. Why don't we just tweak that?
Yeah.
And everyone being like, oh, and then the whole redirection of that meeting would change.
Yeah.
And sometimes I am sat there like, I don't know if, it's quite scary being that person sometimes.
Yeah.
Because then if it goes wrong, it is all on you.
So I'm going to go back to the ADHD thing.
Yeah.
The superpower of that is you're taking everything in. Your brain is calculating everything that's happening and able to process it much quicker than everyone else. And I think that superpower makes a massive difference in those sort of meetings because you're already 10 steps ahead of what they're talking about. So in that conversation, everything you're hearing, you've already gone 10 steps ahead.
Yeah.
So your brain's gone, well, hold on, they've done this. Well, we could do that. Hold on, that's been done. Why are we doing that? And then that's why most likely when that comment comes out, because you can see you already know what's going to happen. But in your experience, that's the one thing I love about the ADHD brain is that not only the downside piece is you've got millions of things happening at once, but the benefit piece is is everything. You're 10 steps ahead. My 15-year-old has ADHD. My wife has ADHD. I probably have it, but I'm not diagnosed. Whoop, whoop. Superpower. But the amazing thing is, I'm talking to my wife or talking to my kid. That she's way ahead. She's way ahead of me. Like completely, like knows exactly. She's like. So it's really interesting that when you think about in those sort of meetings, they're following the agenda. You've read the agenda and you're already at the end.
Yeah. No, I think that's true. I also think that like the way that I work, because they do say, you've met one neurodivergent person, you've met one neurodivergent person, and I've had to, been forced to kind of learn how my brain works since my diagnosis. And the way that it works, I often describe it as like a climbing wall. And every time I go to reach the next handle, if you like, what are they called? Like on a climbing wall.
I don't know what they're called.
Someone will know.
Yeah.
Someone message me on LinkedIn on what they're called because it's going to really annoy me now. And every time I go to reach one, I'm scanning all of the different options that I could choose, and I've decided that's the best one for the next step, and the next step, and the next step.
Yeah, you're way ahead. Yeah.
So then I take that, and then I go to the next one. So every single decision I'm ever making, I'm making to achieve the outcome that's going to provide the most efficacy for what we're trying to do. So if you put me in a room around a table of people to discuss a certain topic, and you haven't told me what we're trying to achieve in that meeting, it's the first question I'll ask.
Yeah.
Why are we here? What are we actually trying to achieve?
Yeah.
What's the goal that we're looking to get to? And it's mad the amount of people that will just look back at you like blank in the face.
What are you talking about? I've got a piece of paper that says 5 things.
Yeah. And it's like, no, I've just got to tick these things off my list.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but have you spoken to finance? Because they're doing something that would influence this. And have you spoken? So it's that, collaboration and
bring it
making
together.
sure we're all traveling in the same direction. Otherwise, I'm on a hamster wheel over here.
Yeah, doing nothing.
Not going anywhere.
Yeah. It's super interesting. I just wanted to pick your brain. So if people listening have the sales function, what's the top 3 things that you would do when you're for oversight? So as not oversight, but as in like coming from the outside in, looking at that process, because it's quite nice for people to understand the challenges. Right, there's resource issues, not enough salespeople, not enough sales team. Everyone's trying to do as much as possible. You're an expert in Collins, which also helps. What are the 3 things that you can share? Because it's in my head, I think, and it will make a great clip as well. Like taking the step back and looking at the process. What if you don't mind sharing a little bit, some nuggets of genius?
Thanks. Gosh, I wouldn't call myself that.
Well, to be honest with you, with the percentages you're throwing out there, you need to use it, because that's mental.
I did check that number about 1 million times before I presented it to the board. And when I presented it to the board, it was a bit of a pinch me moment. But I would absolutely say the most important thing before you even start looking at anything to do with sales or performance, especially when you go into a role with fresh eyes, is to fix any leaks that the funnel has before you start inputting more leads into the top. Because far too often people will join a team and they'll start throwing this money out to marketing and throwing this money out to ads, and they're not realizing that before they've even started, their churn because of a digital escape route they didn't even know about exists, and that's providing 60% of their churn. And actually, just by putting a plug in that and not even increasing the marketing spend is actually going to boost your bottom line. So and I always make that so clear as well if I'm ever interviewing for a job, is like, when I first come in, you're going to think I'm not doing a lot. Yeah. Because what I'm going to be doing is looking at what's there. And people say that, right? They're looking at what's there. But I'm looking at what's there from a customer's point of view, always.
Yeah, and what gets lost. Yeah, the churn thing is massive.
Exactly. And I'm looking at the emails that we're getting and the responses that the customer's getting. And I'm going, flipping heck, if I was that customer, I'd have given up.
Which they probably and they probably have.
It's a nightmare. They've asked this question on this channel, and this channel, and they've been redirected to different people every time, and they've still not got an answer to their question, and they're about to spend 50 quid ahead. Yeah. Like, are you joking? Like, it's just little stuff like that.
So back to on the Collins thing, that central inbox is pretty handy, right?
Collins doesn't provide it does provide a central inbox in terms of everyone in the team can see messages from every inquiry.
Oh, but there's not we use Zendesk as a help desk.
I know
a couple of our clients are now using it for all communication. Yes, yeah. And I was thinking the other day about building a little tool that could read from there's loads of agentic AI out there now. So building a tool that can pull out the customer's profile, whether it's on the CRM or the booking platform, and when they email in, their profile pops up.
Yes.
And then
nice.
and then you can allocate that message to someone in the team.
Yes. Yeah.
Rather than it being forwarded to someone who then doesn't, and then it gets lost in the ether.
Yes.
So we have targets and SLAs on our Zendesk. So you have to allocate the request when it comes in.
Yeah.
You then have to pass it to the right person.
Yeah.
And then they've got timelines to have to respond, right? Because you have to. So and then at the end of the day, have all their tickets. So they've got their normal inbox, which they don't really use. Everyone uses Zendesk.
Nice. Yeah.
So one of our clients has moved to Zendesk, and it's really interesting listening to. They're like, oh, this is great. So every request that comes in goes there. Zendesk isn't cheap, but I was thinking. About 5 years ago, they released a product called Inbox, where it basically took your inbox, and then you can invite 10 or 15 people into the inbox, and then write internal notes, and pass it to different people.
Nice.
So, and it was free. So I was thinking about, wouldn't it be awesome for Res to have the emails, the email inboxes, rather than using their inbox is there, they can go online to centralized inbox, allocate it to different people. The person gets an email with the request. When they reply, it goes to the central system. So then you can see all the conversations. So you can still reply from your email if you want to, or you can reply from the system. But wouldn't it be nice if someone put in, this is a difficult customer, just to let you know, they've called in 5 times.
Yes.
Blah, 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 blah.
So Collins has this.
Yeah.
But only when someone makes an inquiry through the widget.
Yeah, so
it
the
doesn't
inquiry
come
piece.
in when if they email you.
Yeah.
But that's exactly one of the things that I wanted to do, is streamline everything into one place. So that they get that information. It's actually part of, I deliver lots of different types of training, sales skills and booking training being one of them. And one of the biggest things that I always explain on that training is that context for a sales rep is so valuable. However, it's only as valuable as the context is provided. So if I'm going to look at a customer that's contacted me, in the same breath as what you're saying there, and I'm given a paragraph or I'm given 50 different notes, then it's not ever going to be helpful. But actually, if I learn that they love a G&T, they made a complaint last time, and I don't know, they spent over 100 quid a head, that's actually really important. And the context will then decipher exactly how I'm going to approach that person. And the first thing I'm going to do is say to them, probably, I'm actually really surprised that you've asked to book with us again, because it sounds like you had quite a difficult time with us last time, and actually get in there first. And really understand it from their perspective. If they come back because the food was amazing.
Well.
Exactly. Or if they come back because when they did make a complaint, that was dealt with really well. Or actually, if they only come back because it's the only time and place that had the availability that everyone could make, in which case, let's give them a free G&T when they arrive. So the context is everything, I agree.
And bringing that data in is a difficult piece.
It is.
Like 7 Rooms is pretty cool because you can do the customer profile in there as well. You can do the customer profile in Collins, but then that inbox piece is still missing. And I think that's where people get lost. So like you can go to book a reservation, and on the profile it have something, maybe it's a birthday, whatever, the chip print or print out, and it'll be a little thingy. But I think there's this massive missing piece that's just not there, that when someone books, wouldn't it be nice to see everything?
Yeah, I do agree with that. However, I also think that you're kind of treating a symptom rather than the cause. And I think from my perspective, and again, it would differ compared to, depending on who you're dealing with and the operator, etc., and their already inbuilt processes. But from my point of view, was one of the things I did at Night Group, is there is an automatic reply to every single person that emails the general inbox, and it says, it's all color coded, it's broken down, so people aren't just seeing a massive chunk of text. It's literally saying, if you're making a booking, if you're about lost property, if you're about this, and it looks nice. It's not horrible to look at.
It's like a marketing style.
Yeah, and it's like, click this to make a booking. And if we ever got an email about making a booking, and they'd had that automatic reply, we just wouldn't reply to them. We wouldn't. Because we're too busy dealing with the private hire that's about to spend 82k on Saturday.
Yeah.
And it's about where you're directing that focus.
Yeah, well, you've already given the information they need.
Exactly. And if they're not going to look at it, then that's on them.
Yeah.
And it's just about being picky with your time.
I like the auto reply with everything in it.
Yeah, go straight to, because the amount of work that's been put into that customer journey from that, landing on that widget on our website onwards, we are going to give you every single bit of information that you need, really succinctly, at the right time, when you're ready to receive it. And if there's any questions at the end of that, then you can email us and it will come through Collins.
Yeah.
And then we can see exactly all of that snapshot of information that's relevant.
Yeah.
And I trained my team in how to write those contextualized notes so that they'd be helpful for each other and themselves if they got a call or whatever from them.
I think more too often than you end up just getting no notes.
Yeah.
So people are just in such much of a hurry to get it through. So okay, so tip number 2 could be very much that customer journey piece, like as in the emails. I like that as a general. Like, no, I don't. I've emailed a wad of different people in the past, not got any response until someone actually responds to me. So I think that automatic reply is an awesome idea.
Yeah, it's sometimes
it's not hard to do.
What you've got. It's free. And it's just making sure the way that automatic reply is written. Sentence construction in sales is so important. The way that you're writing your responses, it has got to be effectively like giving the customer exactly what they're expecting and what they need in terms of answering their questions. But it's also just laying little. It's like Hansel and Gretel, like laying little crumbs.
Yeah.
To pique their
the
curiosity.
Breadcrumbs into the right place.
Yeah, and if they want to go down that path, they can, but they're always in control whether we do or not.
Yeah, I love that. I really like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm literally, you're teeing this on to a Catherine's course for sales. I seriously think like you need to do. You could do like an online course and just on and post it on LinkedIn and then get people to do it. You could do this.
The thing is though, Adam, I would put my heart and soul into doing that. I would spend probably about 1,300 hours designing the bloody logo for it.
Yeah.
And I would do it, and then like 2 people would watch. And then I'd be really sad
well,
because I can't do anything by half.
So maybe we do a LinkedIn Live and we can invite some people in.
That would be fun.
And then I can help you.
I'd do that.
Because I did a LinkedIn Live for number 50 of ours, and I had William Connors, we had Tommy Giroux from Honest Burgers, we had Gemma from Honest, we had David Burt, we had loads of people on, and there was 10 of us. And I didn't talk that much. I was surprised actually. I was like, my wife was opposite me, trying to do the producing piece, and we used Riverside. It was all online.
Okay.
So I would be well up for doing that, and we could do maybe a live QA.
And I could have a whiteboard, and I could be like, I love that.
And we could pin you, and you could do that, and then we could do a little questionnaire at the end if you like. But I think that would be awesome. Just a little nuggets of genius that you have to bring people in, because then from there, the response from that would give you an awesome tee off of to people see the value in it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'll do that. I have Riverside, so it's already there. We already pay for Riverside, which is the online streaming tool.
Yeah, I'm up for that. That's fab.
That's the next thing.
I've got lots of sales training and different types of work.
I think just literally all we need to do is half an hour.
Yeah. I can condense it. I can condense my. I'll tell you all the different ones that I've got, and then you could pick the one that you think would be the most helpful, and then I could just condense it.
I'm so up for it.
Yeah.
Because we can bring people in to ask questions afterwards.
Yeah.
So then you get the QA fire. I'm up for it. Okay, that's my next live. I want to do another live, so there we go. It scared the crap out of me when I did the first one, but it was amazing, and there was so much information from it because there was so all the people that came in had so much to give.
Yeah.
That it was. I was just asking questions.
Chaotic,
It was actually
good chaotic.
Yeah, no, I was pointing at the right people to ask questions rather than everyone talking at once. So it was actually quite nice. It was just scary.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Okay. All right. So we've talked loads, which is amazing. I'm looking at all my notes. We've gone through practically everything except for your new baby.
Oh. Yeah, so is it this new, basically, I've wanted to start a company for ages. I've had so many different ideas. At one point was getting prototypes from China to create a bike Mac, it was called, honestly, I just won't even go there. And I think you always need 2 things. I said this on a podcast that I was on a few months ago. You need 2 things to start a business. You need to be the right type of person, but B, you need a bloody good idea. Like it can't just come out of something rubbish. And this is something that actually I just think in hospitality myself, like if it was available to me, I would have jumped at it.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to kind of see if there is any interest for it, but it's effectively called TIDR, TIDR, which kind of looks like TLDR, which is quite fun. I quite like it.
Yeah, I like that too.
And it's all about tidying things up and streamlining efficiency. It's about operational efficiency. It's about saving time. That's what it is basically. And we've hit a bit of a stumbling block, and it's kind of slowing us down a little bit. And
what have you hit?
I think it's a bit of it's a question that we can't really work out the answer to, and I wouldn't say I'm risk averse, but I would say I would take the risk when I know what the risk is, and I don't really know enough about the risk to make the decision. So it's kind of like we're just treading slowly at the moment. But what I can say is that it's for operators that have spaces that they market on private hire listing platforms like Headbox and Tag Venue, etc.
Yeah.
Because we know that the landscape of the hospitality industry is so up and down, and that we need to be able to, at head office and also on site, make these tactical decisions like budget's really tight this month, let's lower the private hire fee from 5 to 3K.
Yeah.
And if you actually followed the journey of that happening, normally what happens is it doesn't get any further than the existing inquiries are told that they can pay less to book it that week.
Yeah.
And actually what the power that reduction in price could actually do if all of the venue listing platforms were updated is tenfold. So effectively, if a venue
it feels like dynamic pricing for events.
No, well, kind of.
But in a better way.
Yeah.
Not increasing.
No, yeah, I can imagine. Effectively, if you have 3 venues, right, and every single one of those venues has 5 different spaces that are available to private hire, and these might not be different spaces; they might be configurations. And
areas or even pieces of the space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you've listed those
like a group bookings as such as well.
Group booking, anything that's listed online to market.
Yeah.
If you have those on 4 different listing platforms, that's 5 spaces, 3 venues, 4 platforms.
Yeah.
And you had to update the pricing just for that month.
Yeah.
That is 60 updates.
Yeah.
That you've got to log into a platform, go to that space in the settings, and put the new price in.
Yeah.
So A, it's not going to get done.
No.
B, if it does get done, it
might be one
time
or two.
Time taken away from existing leads that they could be responding to and closing. And obviously, you're paying the person to do that, and that's an admin task that it's just not worth it. So what Tider does is it means that you can just log into Tider, update that field, and it updates it everywhere for you.
Okay.
And this isn't just pricing; it's menus, it's pictures, it's descriptions, it's capacity.
So are you doing listings as well?
Yeah, so it's for private hire.
Just
listings.
for private hire.
Yeah. So
but you could potentially expand that to listings as
when
well.
You say listings.
So listings as in Google, as in other areas. Like, because if you're doing opening, you could. The thing that you could, if you're doing integrations to the private hire side and they're adding photos, menus, information, then that stuff can also, Google Business can add that information to it as well.
In the future, the trigger for them all updating might be them updating their own website.
Yeah.
And then that triggers it.
Yeah.
But it depends. You kind of want the operators to keep the control because they might only want to change the pricing for that venue and not for that venue, or they want to change the pricing for that venue but only on that.
So have you built the integration to those platforms?
Yeah, we're working on that.
Yeah, is that a challenging block? Because some of those platforms, I could imagine, not all have open APIs and all the rest.
It's something for my business partner that he's doing, but we want to talk to the
He's the CTO
parties.
techie piece, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. But the thing is,
was he sitting next to you at Hostech on his laptop?
I
thought I saw a black window as he was coding away while you were listening. He was like, I'm going to do some work.
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah.
But I feel for operators, and I've experienced it firsthand. Which is, if you've got Sarah who's come for dinner last weekend and her birthday's coming up and she loved her experience with you, she's gonna maybe book her big birthday with you.
Yeah.
But you are forced to use these listing platforms because most often people are Googling, if they don't have a specific place they want to go, they're Googling, event space to hire.
And they'll find Square Meal and all the rest.
You're never going to compete with that SEO.
No,
they're always going to get there. So you are forced to sign up. And
yeah.
in the 90s, there was only 1 or 2 of these platforms. DMN came in, absolutely revolutionised it, brought in the younger demographic to that space. And then since then, there's been 10, 12 new ones, and the newest one, Event Cage, bringing in AI.
Yeah.
So operators are forced to spread far and thin.
Yeah.
They are. There's a lot of the time it's a no-brainer to join them because a lot of them are commission based. So they end up signing up to all of these different platforms, and then half of them are out of date. So the leads
and the wrong
you're getting
photos, wrong information, wrong menus, wrong pricing, wrong content.
So not only are you not getting the customers that would have booked with you if it was up to date, but you're also getting all of these unqualified leads that you're then paying someone to sit and reply to.
So are you also going to potentially help with that funnel?
Yeah.
And the leads? coming in
put them all together in
into one place, right? So they don't have to worry about that inbox.
Logging in here, replying here, logging in, blah, blah, put them all, and for the third-party platforms as well, like what do they need? They need engagement. Imagine being a third-party platform and setting up this amazing platform for operators,
and then them
coming to you and saying, we want to cancel our contract because we're not getting any leads from you. And it's like, well, hun, you haven't updated your page in about 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, so if we could solve that problem as well, then we're going to boost the numbers that the third-party listing platforms are going to get.
Yeah, there's a tool in the US that's awesome where they just do like the opening closing times, and they have a widget that something you can speak to your partner about. They have a widget that they install on businesses' website, but the widget is controlled by their platform. So when the change is made, it's just timings, opening, closing. The first one piece is just open, closing times. Really simple. Once that change is done, it then changes all of the listing companies for opening, closing times.
Perfect.
But if you could do something like the events page on the website to be a iframe or your page, as far as the customers see, it's their brand. They click on events and it loads your hosted page, all in their design.
Exactly.
They just need to manage it in one platform.
Exactly.
That would be cool.
Exactly. No, it is essentially that, but we don't want it to be linked directly to the website yet because we don't know enough about the needs
loads of places I go to, like restaurants and stuff, the events just about has a brochure. Just about. There's a button to say email events. There's not much information about it. You always all the restaurants I've looked at recently have, when someone says to me something like, oh, there's 10 of us going out, blah, 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 or the team marketing WhatsApp will be like, oh, and it is a group, blah, blah, blah. I used to just have a quick look. Every group I've seen, even groups we work with, there will be an events page. There might be a contact form. Doesn't go into Collins. Doesn't go into and it just says email events at, when they could really have all the information in there.
Honestly, it boils my blood because I just think you're really struggling for revenue. You have this amazing space that you can even just add a private hire fee for, and that's complete profit. Like you then invite 100 people down for this event, and then you get your number one lead customer who books with you all the time, and then you have 99 new people on your database to make an impact with. And I just think that it's such a big opportunity that is really easy to do well. But it's just being able to actually put the effort and the time into making that process.
So there's two pieces really. One is updating listings for those platforms, which and there'll be more and more as time goes on, right? People will pay for SEO, get better website, and so on. So that's one piece, and it is the other piece of the platform to manage the inbound flow.
That would be future.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
so the first stage is basically making them more money by updating these places, because as you said, people just don't update those photos. They could be 10 years old, the photos.
Yes,
exactly. Venues change the whole time, areas change the whole time. And I remember speaking to a client of ours who were changing their phone number, and we just Googled the number, and I was like, there's 30 websites with a number on it, and they went, what? Exactly.
And it's your unknown unknowns, isn't it? Like your known unknowns I can deal with, your unknown knowns I can deal with. Like my known knowns, piece of cake, but what are my unknown unknowns? Because that's what's going to bite you in the arse. As you're going under a year down the line. And
that's really interesting.
It's shining a light on that and quantifying it.
So are you in like MVP at the moment? Are you testing?
No, so we've got it. We're ready.
Amazing.
We're offering free places on the pilot. So,
amazing.
So it's just about...
Have you got people actually messing around, like testing it now?
We haven't launched the pilot yet.
Okay.
We've got people that want to join the pilot.
Yeah.
But I think we initially had a certain size that we wanted the pilot to be, and I think we've kind of knocked that out and just said, you know what, just anyone. But you can go to tidr.tech, tidr.tech, and you can join a waiting list.
Is it a form?
Yeah. And
do you get an auto reply from the form?
I think it just takes you to a screen that says thanks.
Nice.
And then
do I get a response?
Yeah, I'd probably
because if I don't get an auto reply with a breakdown of where I need to go, I'm going to be really disappointed.
I honestly, I just call every person that fills it out because you
can feel it out.
If it's not helpful for them, I'm not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm not going to do it. It also means though, if you sign up to a new third party, you don't have to spend all the time inputting all the data. You just pull it from your existing one and push it out.
Yeah.
Which in itself saves like 3 hours per venue.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Fix your funnel.
Funnel Fixer.
Funnel Fixer. It's a good website. .ai.
Yeah.
So I think that would be awesome. This sounds really interesting. There is the challenge right now is the more tools that you can get that can fix the resource issue.
Yes.
So we speak to lots of marketers. They're all really struggling.
Yeah.
We speak to lots of salespeople. Everyone's struggling to get more. So any tools that that can help people out there. And I guess you can actually use this in any business, really, because there's listings for everything.
So
yeah.
Well, yeah, and this is the thing. Like, I was reading an article the other day that was talking about the revenue that's expected that people are forecasting compared to last year, and the fixed revenue that is already booked has actually reduced, but the amount of revenue they're expecting has increased. And that basically says that people are assuming a 12-week lead time on their bookings and big events.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you're expecting a 12-week lead time, but if you've not got the time to actually, you're expecting a lot of leads to come through, but if most of those leads are shit quality and they're not actually,
and then lost out your funnel.
Yeah, and they're coming because it says online that you're serving, you know, a deal for a set menu that's 20 quid, but actually a year ago the ops manager put that up to 26. It's like, you're actually paying someone to respond to them saying we're not doing that anymore, but the people that have got a budget that's higher than that might have actually disregarded you because it's a corporate booking and they want the best of the best, and it's frustrating. So yeah, I think if we're making these assumptions,
it's so back in the day when I used to run events, we did the X Factor wrap party. I know it was awesome. Loved it.
Which year? Like, as in who won?
As in from Gareth Gates all the way to One Direction.
No way.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was still doing this. What I'm doing now. I think I don't remember what the last one was, to be honest with you. And the last one was at the Hippodrome, and it was what's his name? I don't remember his name now. But it was awesome. But it was really interesting over the years. James Arthur, yeah. James Arthur.
Him.
Yeah, he was a bit moody.
Amazing.
He was sitting in the corner with his bodyguards, and everyone else having a great time.
All right, James.
And we were like, you just won the X Factor. You're not like Mr. Celebrity, and like no one could go near him because you're like 6 bodyguards.
Maybe it's neurodivergent.
Maybe, but maybe he just needed his space. But I remember over the years the budget was so high from the beginning. Like the first couple of events, the first couple of years were like crazy amounts of money. I would go get the venue for them. I would help behind the bar. I would do everything, but I'm super anal when it comes to that sort of stuff. So I was making sure everything was good.
Yeah.
But they spent tons. I mean, literally, they were like, "A budget's gone. Here's a card." And then throughout the years, and budget's getting tighter, and so on. Literally, at that, gone are the days of someone dropping 100 grand, unless it's Deloitte. But even then, there isn't that. There's not that anymore. They used to, friends of mine work in banking. He used to be able to go out all the whole time and take people out for food. That's gone down. So if you're not updating these platforms, you're losing the business. And I didn't even know there were that many platforms out there. I mean, my brain just goes to like 2 or 3 that you know.
There's so many.
So I guess you could even, from what you're doing, that your platform could also end up being a listing platform as well, because you've got all the data from those venues. So the public-facing side. I mean,
we know what the MVP is, which is updating the listing platforms to save operators time and get better quality leads. That's what the MVP is, and the pilot is very much to get people to try and test that and check that it's actually doing that. And if it is, telling us what else is going to be helpful, and we'll move in the direction that they want. I'm not here to lay the paving and ask someone to walk.
No, I love that. You're using them to guide you in the right direction.
I want to help ultimately.
I think you've got 2 pieces. One is your sales training, which you definitely need to be doing a bit online and the course, because Mark McCulloch's doing his marketing course. Sam's got his sales training course. You literally can do a course. I think. Yeah,
well, I go to companies and deliver
but you could do
training.
it like there's so many people. 100%.
I like seeing people. Also, I put like fidget toys in the middle of the table. And I wouldn't be able to do that if it was virtual.
You send them more fidget toys.
I could in the post.
Yeah.
Data protection. It terrifies me.
But yeah, I think that we'll definitely need to do the live. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to give you that round of applause. They can hear it. Can you hear it?
I can hear it.
That's your round of applause. Thank you. We can go on for hours to talk.
I know.
It's really interesting, and also I'd like some of the nuggets of genius that are coming out of what you're saying is I never even thought about. I'm not an operator, right? So I don't think about these pieces, but you're so right in really looking at how the funnel is.
Removing the noise.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, just remove all the noise and just cut to it.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. We're going to go back down to the final questions.
Yeah.
Best restaurant.
Covent Garden.
Oh, really?
I'm going there straight after
Are
this.
you? Love it there.
I love it so much.
We're going to start working with them soon.
No way.
Yeah, they're really nice people.
I love it so much. The aesthetic, the decor, the food, the service. just everything about it.
It doesn't feel like a vegan restaurant.
I know, and the food is so freaking good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It is
And I
good.
love the size of the portions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a special treat. And yeah, I just love it.
Have you been to Mallow, the other one?
Yes, I like Mallow too, but I'm not a very big fan of spicy food.
Yeah, yeah.
So I find it a bit spicy. So Mildred's it is.
Nice. Yeah, I walked past the one in Covent Garden on the weekend.
Oh,
It's really pretty.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really good. And they're a really nice team, actually. Best burger?
Ooey. I love ooey burgers.
Yeah.
They're so good, but also just
you wouldn't know.
nutty.
You wouldn't know that they were what they are. You
No.
wouldn't know they're vegan burgers.
No.
So I think I was saying to a friend of mine. So Ben in my office is vegan, but he likes cheese. So
Big up Ben.
But he's a vegan.
But eats cheese.
It just
I take back my word.
Has a problem. Anyway, he was like, I said, we're talking about Beyond Meat, right? And the patties are okay. The big ones are. I wish that they would do the smaller ones, because like all the vegan, like when Neat Burger was around and other vegan places, or even McDonald's, they do the single patty. And I want to do I want to make like a McDonald's-y version of
the bigger one.
Of the smaller. You can't buy the small single patty anywhere. You can only buy the big Beyond Meat ones, unless you smush it down and make your own.
Yeah, Co-op Incredible Burger.
Okay.
They're thinner.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they're good. They taste like Beyond Meat, but they're just like frozen, like they're probably like vegan junk food vibes. But they're good.
Okay.
And they're thin.
I need to try one. I just would love to be able to just because
one.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone asking for a thinner burger before.
Well, no, because you want to smash. You want sort of smashy burger.
You're putting way more effort into your burgers than I do mine. I'm like bit of ketchup, bit of lettuce. Jobs are good.
Sorted. Okay, best hotel.
So I'm split with this one. So I put one in the UK, one abroad. UK, I recently stayed in the Tree House just around the corner.
Yeah, beautiful.
Love it. Like different, still has that like upmarket feel, but like just nature, and I love the bar at the top, and I just love the idea of like staying in a tree house, like that aesthetic. I just loved it. So that's my one in the UK. One abroad is when I went to Ibiza on my own. Went out once, never again. Stayed in the hotel the entire time. It's called TRS.
You stayed in the hotel in the hotel?
I didn't need to leave. There was everything. There were dancers in the pool.
Oh, sick.
There was a saxophonist that came out at 4 p.m. with cocktails and played like London Grammar songs, which is just my life.
Yeah.
There was like treatments. There was like a quiet pool, an exciting pool, a jazz pool, a dance pool.
It's mental.
And it wasn't a party hotel at all, but it was, and like it was
everything you needed.
A rooftop bar with like the most beautiful view of the sunset with jazz players, and basically that is heaven. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I like that. What's it called again?
TRS Ibiza Hotel.
TRS Ibiza Hotel.
Double in price to stay there now.
I bet. Is it right in the centre?
No, it's like 10-20 minutes.
Nice.
Like, so I wanted to stay somewhere that was close enough to go out if I suddenly got that urge, which didn't last long. But I also wanted somewhere where I could like really, really relax. Yeah. It was just after a breakup, so I healed in Ibiza on my own.
But that's nice though, and also you had everything you needed.
Yeah.
In one place.
It's great.
That's rare. I've not heard of that before. That sounds amazing. Okay, 2 questions for the next guest.
Yeah, I undenied about what to ask. I was like, oh no, that's too deep. Oh no, that's too specific. Oh no, that's too. And I.
It could be anything. Sam Brown said.
Why are you not connected with me on LinkedIn? No, Sam Brown. What did he say?
He said that his kid asked it. His kid asked an amazing question, and he gave it as a question. If you can have anything liquid come out of your 5 fingers, what would it be?
Oh, I've heard of this before.
Awesome.
I've heard of this before. I won't say what the person I asked answered. I nearly asked my favourite would you rather question, but I thought I'd come across as a freak, so I didn't. I want to know, what is the best hospitality networking event and why?
Okay.
And the second one, when was the last time you were truly present and what were you doing?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah. And I also, this is really random, but I was in the hospital the other day doing a shift, not as a patient.
Yes.
And I saw in one of the doctor's offices a quote.
Yeah.
And I really loved it. And I put it on here to share.
Yeah.
It's from Confucius.
Okay.
Confucius? Maybe not that one.
Probably Confucius.
Maybe. I don't know. Someone will know. LinkedIn me with that.
Yes.
Along with what the things in the rock climbing are called.
Yes.
Boulders? It's annoying me still. It says, we have 2 lives and the second one begins when we realise we only have one.
Ooh,
and I just love it.
That is deep.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay. That's your round of applause. So give everyone a wave of goodbye. Thank you very much. And thank you for coming.